Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Pete here with MixBetterNow.com, and today I want to talk about using creative effects and thinking outside the box. Let's jump in. Let's check it out. All right, so using creative effects and thinking outside the box. I don't mean the box in terms of your computer, your DAW, or anything like that. I'm just talking about simply thinking in a manner with purpose. And I feel like I see a lot of folks who will put things on tracks when mixing or even during the recording phase. During pre-production, during tracking, things are just done sometimes because we think that we're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And I really want to sort of drive home the fact that anytime that I do anything in a mix, when I'm recording, when I'm songwriting, is with intent and is with purpose. Point being, I don't just compress something because I think it's supposed to have compression. I actually will compress something because I want to control the volume on a track. So that being said, I have a session pulled open here in Studio One. This is an intro track for a record that I am finishing up mixing for a client of mine. It's a very cool indie hip hop thing. And I'm going to hit play for you. I want you to hear what we got going on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the very last chorus. So this whole thing kind of builds and it sort of culminates in this last chorus, which for me is the most important part. As you can see, we have the vocals down here in purple and violet, and there is one lead vocal, there's one ad-lib, and then there's another ad-lib or male vocal for the very last chorus. And then also in the very last chorus, we have 3 female vocal tracks. So we'll listen to the first verse, and then we'll check out the last hook, and I'll show you what I did and why. All right, here we go.
Hey yo, we come a long way, turn a lot of pages, a couple lessons learned, couple streets paved, with the blood and the sweat, hard work, few regrets, heartbeat, thump chests. And my boys be the biggest reason that I never settle. Make me wanna be a man that can cry and go to battle. Be the rock that I can be, and the softness within me. Be the rock that I can be.
All right, so what we're gonna do now is I wanna listen to the second verse going into the last chorus here. So here's what the normal chorus sounds like.
Sitting at the center of now. We sitting at the center of now.
So it's stripped down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 or 7 tracks on there. We'll play it from the last verse going into the last hook here, and I want you to hear how everything opens up and it gets bigger during the last chorus. Here we go.
Lifted gaze, slightly raised. I can read the present with a little bit of presence, representing change. I feel this so strong in my love, my rage, and it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, come on, representing change. It's a new day, a new day. Yeah, we representing change. Hey yo, it's a new day, a new day. And we representing change. It's a new day, a new day. Yeah, and we representing change.
Okay, so as you can hear, very stripped down. We get to the last hook, and we have another 4 vocal tracks come in. So it's clearly the culmination. It's the biggest part, and I need this to stand out because I feel like wearing my producer hat while I'm mixing, you have to have a vision of how you want things to sort of proceed. Now, that being said, vocal effects, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this one vocal track, which is over here. Just going to bring these down a little bit. So we have a lead vocal, which I have split on the 2 tracks, Ryan lead vocal 1, Ryan lead vocal 2. There's an ad-lib track right here, okay? Which, are a normal part of the song. Here is the lead vocal soloed.
Lifted gaze, slightly raised. I can read the present with a little bit of presence.
I'm going to bring the ad-lib track in.
Lifted gaze, slightly raised. I can read the present with a little bit of presence, representing change. I feel this so strong in my love, my rage, and it's...
So I used a couple very common effects on the vocals that I would use in a lot of other things. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of parallel compression, a little bit of room reverb, a very small room that I call an office verb, and then I have a plate reverb on his vocal, and then I'm using a 30-second note delay. So if we go and look over at the effects on his, I'm just calling it Reverb because I literally tailored a specific reverb in for his vocal. It's a plate, 1.27 seconds on the length, no pre-delay. And then we have Erica's part come in, which is very cool. She's doing sort of a singing her part, and then there's a high harmony and a low harmony, and they sound like this.
It's a new day, a new day. It's a new day, a new day. It's a new day, a new day.
Now, all of that is well and good, and I like where that's at, but there's one track that I've yet to show you, yet to address, and that is this accent track right here, okay? So you'll see Ryax, Ax stands for accent, doesn't really matter how it's labeled, but the point is, this is the only part of the vocal in this whole session. So it is only there for the last chorus. What does that tell me when I'm mixing this? It tells me that it's important. This needs to stand out. This needs to have its own place, and it needs to sort of take that last hook over the edge and really make it sound great. That's what I need to do. So I went through and I did my usual, EQ and a little bit of compression, which I will do on most vocals to sculpt the sound as I want. But here's what the track sounds like by itself. And if you look down here, you'll see I have no effect sends on here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Here is what that accent sounds like.
It's a new day, a new day. Come on. Yeah. It's a new day, a new day. Yeah, ha. It's a new day, a new day.
So what this track is doing is it's mirroring the lead vocal. If I put the lead vocal on.
And it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, come on, y'all. Yeah, said it's a new day, a new day.
Now here's where the creative effects come into play. I tried doing some stuff on here, like doing some reverb sends, some delay sends, maybe some chorusing. Because reverb and delay are probably the two most common effects that we will reach for on anything, right? Whether it's a vocal, it's a guitar, it's a drum kit. Reverb tends to be the most popular, right? Delay, I would say after that, spatial effects. I was trying stuff and nothing was really sort of making me happy. Because what I want this to do is when it hits this part, I want the listener to get excited. I want this to stand out and I want it to be different. So as I was thinking of a way to sort of elevate this, to find a place to sit, in addition to Erica's vocals.
And it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, come on, y'all. Yeah. It's a new day, a new day.
Now, I'm not going to leave it dry because for me, it was just poking out a little bit too far, but some of the reverbs and some of the delays were just a little bit boring. So I was thinking about it and I started to think outside the box, and I did something that I will commonly do, and that is I put a guitar amp sim on the track as an insert, not as a send and a return. I physically went ahead and put it on the track. Now, if we go ahead and look in my plugin folder, I mean, there's plenty of effects that we can use. Everything from the cable guy stuff is fun, right? It does panning and volume automation. There's reverbs. In the Sound Toys thing, there's everything from there's tremolos, there's filtering, there's all kinds of stuff, but not everything is appropriate for a certain part. So again, I had to think outside the box. I toggled over to my instruments menu here, and I wound up using, where is it? I don't see it. Guitar Rig 5. I don't see Guitar Rig there. That's because it's probably in the effects folder. So I wound up using Guitar Rig 5. Native Instruments. Guitar Rig is actually in it's in the effects folder. Anyway, that's not what's important. What's important is that I used a guitar amp sim on the track, not a send and return, I slapped it on there. And what I did was I went through a bunch of the presets that they have. Now they have tons and tons and tons of presets on here. This is not going to be me advocating using presets. There's nothing wrong with using presets as a starting point, but never rely on presets as an end point, because nobody knows what you need in your session for your music, for your your particular track, right? Nobody knows if it's a compression preset what the release time should be on my kick drum, right? Because there's so many things that are variables that depend on that one thing. So I have no problem with presets as sort of inspiration points, but then we need to tweak the presets to make it sound appropriate or to make it fit into our mix. So what I've done is there are so it starts here on the bottom and it goes all the way down to $6.99. So we got 700 presets in here. Everything from guitar amp sims to effects to bass amps to all kinds of crazy stuff. So I wound up settling on this one effect called Dreamvox, and this has a ton of stuff going on, but I've tweaked it. This has there is tractor going on, all out through this, but we have a stretch transposition, say that 5 times fast. We have some splitting going back and forth from channel A to B, and then I'm using 2 different delays, and they're sort of ping-ponging back and forth. So like one's turning on the right, then one's turning on the left, then it's turning off, then it's turning back on the right. I've got a peak filter, 2 LFOs, and then there was just a limiter on here. It wasn't really doing anything, but I just left it on anyway. So here is what it sounds like by itself. And then I'll show you what it sounds like in the context of the mix. And, the bottom line is it's like it's not something that I would normally reach for is a guitar amp sim preset, but there are no rules. There's always a dozen different ways to do things. So anyway, check out what this sounds like. I think it's very cool. He says there was a word in here representing change, and I wanted the representing to really sort of echo and repeat out. So I was trying to do a bunch of different things like delay throws, and like I said, nothing was just really doing it for me. So anyway, this is what I settled on. This is what I like. This is what it sounds like by itself.
It's a new day, a new day. Come on. Yeah. It's a new day, a new day. Yeah. Ha. It's a new day, a new day. And we representing change. Yeah, new day. Yeah.
And then it fades out. So I know it sounds a little weird by itself, but it is locked into the grid, so it's going to work. Check it out. I will bring the band in. We'll go from the top of the hook here.
Rage, and it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, come on, y'all. It's a new day, a new day. Yeah, we representing change. Hey yo, it's a new day, a new day. And we representing change. It's a new day, a new day. And we representing change.
So how cool is that, right? It gives it its own sort of area, its own space to live, and it makes that little vocal stack important in the final chorus, which is the most important part of the song, and it has its own place to live. Now, one thing I just want to make you guys aware of, the last video I did was called the lead vocal split trick, and that sort of deals with basically taking a vocal performance and putting it on different tracks because you need to treat them differently. So that actually happened here. If we come and we look, I have 2 lead vocal tracks. You'll see Ryan lead 1, Ryan lead 2. So for this part, I had to EQ and compress and affect it differently than I did for the rest of the song. But then if we look at the accent track here, where I used guitar rig 5 on, I actually chopped off this last bit and I put it back onto the lead vocal track. And the reason I did that is because the way that it was echoing and repeating, it wouldn't sort of cut out for that last bit. And even when I automated it and I turned it off, it was still going. So like this is muted right here, and then I just popped it up here and they all sound like this.
Rage, and it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, come on. Come on, y'all. Say it's a new day, a new day. Tell them, hey yo, it's a new day, a new day. And we representing change. Yeah, it's a new day, a new day. Yeah, and we representing change.
So in that way, when the song is done, it comes out, and the preset and guitar rig worked really perfectly for this part. So I really like how it turned out. And listen, it's not about which plugin I used or which effect or anything like that. The point is going through and finding something that maybe you wouldn't use all the time. Not your typical reverbs, not your typical delays, not your typical chorusing, or anything like that. I just kind of went and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab an amp sim and I'm sort of gonna make this happen. And I went through and I just started listening to different things and seeing what sounded appropriate. If you're given sessions and you're mixing stuff, whether it's your own music or whether it's for a client, and you go through enough trouble to put a part in a song, it needs to be treated with as much importance as anything else because it's there for a reason. So, my job is to make my client happy and to make myself happy because I want to smile when I'm mixing and I want to have fun and I want to do all that stuff. So anyway, don't be afraid to use stuff like Guitar Rig. Think outside the box, put it on stuff, use it as an insert. Don't have to use things always as sends and returns, and get as creative as possible. There is no right way or one way to do anything. All right, so that's it for me. Just talking a little bit about ways to use some creative effects with purpose, thinking outside the box a bit. My name is Pete with MixBetterNow.com. As always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.